I'm here on the stand and very honoured to be here on the stand with an award-winning industry celebrity, Sir Andrew Ditton.
You're too kind, Matt. Thank you.
It's lovely to meet you.
Well, it's great to see you.
It's great to see. Every time I see you this week, either you're having lunch, I'm having lunch, or we're both running somewhere.
Running somewhere, absolutely. Yeah. It's been a great show, hasn't it?
It's been really busy, yeah.
Really
busy this morning in the atrium.
Very, very busy.
Yeah. Sold out today, apparently. So, yeah. And tomorrow.
And tomorrow, yeah. And I've met so many lovely people here.
I bet.
So many lovely people, yeah.
And I bet they say the same about you. We love you.
Not all of them. What you need to do is...
I bet. There's always going to be some of that. So you're prolific on YouTube, aren't you? And you've been in the industry for how long?
I've been in the industry for over 20 years. And I've had my own YouTube channel for over 10 years.
Yeah.
So I remember going down with a Bailey Pegasus to the Alps in, oh my goodness, I think it was 2009, and vlogging it before vlogging was even a thing. And I didn't even know I was vlogging. I was just covering my journey. And yeah, it was a vlog before vlogs even existed. So it's not that I'm any good, Matt. It's just I was there first. That's all.
Yeah. Well, we're loving the content, and it's getting huge amounts of views. It's really useful content for someone who's never caravaned or motorhomed. And you're a caravan, aren't you? You've got your own caravan.
So I've got my own caravan, but I also go in motorhomes, and even camper vans. So I'm very lucky, and I've got my own tent. So on my days off, or days off, but I'll go camping in the Hebrides locally. Locally, I'll go camping
because that's where you live, isn't it?
Yeah, I live in the Outer Hebrides, yeah. So
that's convenient.
It's very convenient. So it just means that when I'm a fair weather camper, so
right, okay.
Only when it's nice weather will I go out in the tent. Otherwise, it's the caravan, or and I'm very lucky that I get sent on trips by different clients like Detlefs or Bursner or Corrado, to go on trips to take their products away, yeah. Make videos and photography about them, and yeah, it's basically almost like going on holiday and getting paid for it.
Yeah,
yeah,
you're living the dream.
Living the dream, although sometimes remind me of that when we're getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to do a photo shoot.
Yeah, I know the feeling. I know or getting up at 5 in the morning to come here.
Exactly, yes. But
what time does your driver pick you up? I have a pilot.
You have a pilot? No, I put on my Wellington boots to get to the car through the mud at about 8 o'clock.
Well, you are living the dream here. You're in the caravan here, aren't you?
I'm in the caravan. I'm at Kingsbury Water Park Camping and Caravanning Club site. No, and it's not muddy at all. I'm on a grass pitch, but it's fine. And it's just nice to go back to the caravan at the end of the day and back to your own space. And I also, and this is actually a good point, because the club has just launched this Outjoyment campaign. Before that was even a thing, I've actually got 2 hours a day scheduled in my diary, Matt, and it's called Meeting at Kingsbury Water Park, and that meeting is with the trees. That meeting is actually to get away from this complex. So I have 2 hours in the morning. Today it's 2 hours this afternoon, but I'm actually going to also do the rock and roll job of my laundry. But it's to get out in nature and just enjoy the walks around Kingsbury Water Park and the lakes and the trees and the nature just for an hour or two. Otherwise, if you think 6 days at the show and in concrete and with all the stimulation is a bit too much. So I was very excited when the Camping and Caravanning Club launched this Outjoyment campaign. And it actually ties in with the video that you said award-winning.
Wow, yeah. Tell us about it. Check this out. This is big news.
Yes, I just won an award, which is the Caravan Writers Guild John Wickersham Award for Video 2022, and
congratulations.
Thank you. I entered a video that was called "My Caravan, My Sanctuary," and it was a video from the heart. And the story behind the video is, unfortunately, my brother became very ill in December, and went into hospital, and it became clear that I was going to need to go down and support my family in Kent for a long period of time. I live in the Outer Hebrides, so I thought the best thing to do is to take the caravan down with me, which I did. And it just meant it was my brother was in intensive care because it was COVID. There was only one named visitor. That visitor was me, and also I had to support my mother. It was a 7-hour round trip to hospital 3 or 4 times a week, and sometimes I couldn't even get in to see my brother. He was on a ventilator for 6 weeks. It was an incredibly stressful time. But to be able to go back to my own space, you know, and I'm sure loads of people listening to this podcast will understand whether or not they're in a camper van or a motorhome or a caravan. If it's your own space, and I could just be. We were at Black Horse Farm Caravan and Motorhome Club site, and that's a nice green site. So again, get out into nature and de-stress. I could nap. I have my own bed. I could cook my own food, and just be in my own place. And it sort of inspired me to make a video showing a juxtaposition between the stress of caring for a sick relative, and then what a sanctuary, what a well-being saver my leisure vehicle was to me. Yeah. So I love making videos like that. I love making videos from the heart, and I entered that, and that was the winning entry. And I'm just still humbled, absolutely humbled, grateful to the judges that video was, and as I say, it ties in so much with, as I say, what the Camping and Caravanning Club are doing now with Outjoyment, is how beneficial caravanning and motorhoming is to your well-being. And it's something to, I think that's what drives me, Matt. I think it drives me that not just how important it is for your well-being, but also to get out and live. I mean, you know, we've all know people who have passed away too soon, or they've been struck with an illness too soon. You know, they retire and then boom, it's too late. I just want to encourage people. I never encourage people to go into debt. I never encourage people to do anything they can't achieve. But it's like, if you've got the money and you've got the dream, then what point is it with the money sitting in the bank? You know, use that to live your dream, because tomorrow might be too late. Yeah. And that's really what pushes me to keep doing this. Yeah.
Carpe diem.
Exactly.
Yeah. And where can people watch the video then?
So the video is on my YouTube channel, which is, if they just put in a search Andrew Ditton, which is my name, and then the video itself is called My Caravan, My Sanctuary, and you can see it there. It was uploaded in January 2022. So if they go back on my videos, that's where it is. And it is very moving. We're very proud of you for winning this video. Oh, thank you. Winning the award, sorry. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Very worthy winner, I have to say. Yeah, I'm the perennial runner-up. Yeah, I'm always I'm always the nearly was. So I mean, this is the first time, Matt, in 20 plus years of working in this industry, I've actually won something. Is it really? It's the first time. I've been runner-up loads of times. Well, you want to try harder. Well, I have. Well, it worked. It worked. So. Well, now you're on a roll. Well, I'm not allowed to enter now. So. Are you not? No, definitely not next year. But I wouldn't anyway. That's not fair. So. Can you tell us a bit about John Wickersham? John Wickersham. Yeah. Wickersham, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Yes, I mean, I was fortunate enough to know John before he passed away. Yeah. A load of people know John. He was one of the key people in the industry. So helpful, supportive. Friendly. Now, when I came into this industry in 23 years ago, and I was less bald than I am now, and still actually fairly young, he wasn't one of those who was like, "Oh, who are you, you young whippersnapper?" It was like, "Oh, new blood. How can I help you?" Exactly. Supportive, encouraging, and he just knew everything. Yeah. He just knew everything. He did. And he was very, WYSIWYG. He was what you see is what you get. And, he really one of the good guys. Yeah. And I think he is, don't set me off, he is still sorely missed in this industry. I remember talking to him when I came into this industry from a very corporate events background. Mm-hmm. And he was very encouraging and was very enthusiastic about how I could channel my experience into this industry. And I remember being a bit overwhelmed, thinking, why are you bothered by what I do? Why are you taking the time out to speak to me? He was just a very generous man, wasn't he? Very generous with his time, with his knowledge, and again, I think his motivator was just to help people live their dreams in however that looked, because he knew that to help this industry thrive would then help people thrive.
Yeah.
And he was also pretty much the innovator in this industry of using video. So that's why it's the John Wickersham Video Award in his honour. So and I'm also fortunate enough to be friends with his daughter, Sammy Faircloth, who she still writes. She writes technical articles for the Caravan and Motorhome Club magazine, and so I'm still in touch with his family. And in fact, Sammy was sitting next to me at the awards ceremony, so she was the first to congratulate me.
Wow, lovely.
She was, and you can tell I'm a bit of a sensitive person, Matt. She just looked at me with tears in her eyes and said, "Dad would approve."
Yeah, he would. Yeah. Well, we're all proud of you. Honestly, very deserved, very well deserved. And it's, if you've not seen the video,
I'm tired. It's been a long week. Oh.
It has been a long week.
I get so emotional.
It's not over yet.
Jeez, it's not over yet. No, I'll get heckled on my next talk, and that will set me back to zero. I'll be right.
Quick reset.
Yeah, quick reset. Yeah.
Someone will start going on about electric motorhomes to you. We're not going there.
Oh, we're not going there. No. We're not going there.
Where I want to go is about the industry, Andrew. So, we were talking earlier, weren't we, about how the focus of this industry is the people, and that we've been talking to lots of exhibitors this week, and they're all saying the highlight is meeting the people and meeting the customers. But you and I both agree that sometimes we're an industry that loses sight of that a little bit, aren't we?
Yes, I think sometimes maybe manufacturers, dealers, whatever, are so much focused on product that they forget people. And for example, if I just take what we do, this would be pointless. Everything we're doing now, Matt, would be pointless if people weren't good enough to give us their time to listen to the podcast. My videos would be pointless if people didn't give me their time to watch the video. And I never lose sight of that.
No.
Never. And that's why even when sometimes it's not convenient, I'm tired, whatever, I never lose the fact that, I depend on you. No matter, even if you're screaming at me, abuse in the live theatre there, I need you. I need you more than you need me, and I sometimes think the industry maybe focuses too much on the products, because for the person buying that motorhome or the caravan, that is their dream.
Yeah.
And it's not just a product; it's a dream, and you can't put a price on that. And that's got to be part of a robust package where you protect that dream. And sometimes, and I find that even some of the higher tier manufacturers lose sight of the fact that this person's just invested their life savings into this. It's got to be absolutely correct. And it's no good saying, "Oh, just bring it in and we'll have another look at it," especially if someone's full-timing. They've got to empty it. It's when I was full-timing for 8 years, and just bring it in. If you're full-timing or you're on a long-term tour or you use your motorhome a lot, there's no such thing as just bring it in. It's a 3-day job. It could be a hundreds of miles trip, and you're interrupting your holidays. No, it's got to be right. It's got to be right from day one. And I appreciate also that, and again, this is our job as broadcasters, that a motorhome is such a complex piece of kit with so many components, and it's subjected to being on the road, banging up and down. And I think it's natural that some things are going to wear loose and some things might fail. And again, it's how that is dealt with. So again, you've got to set correct expectations. And normally when you explain to people, like with, say, the weight on Fiat chassis, you explain to people what's going on, and it's not just this industry. I think when we first had the delays on motorhomes, people thought it was just this industry, and then it became a global problem. No, the global supply chain issues. So it's just communicating those things, and people think, oh, actually, it's not that bad after all. It's not just us, it's everybody. No. But yeah, I think, to go back to the original point, none of us, broadcasters, suppliers, dealers, manufacturers, should ever lose sight of the fact that we are dealing with people's dreams, and that is more important than anything else.
But don't you think, though, that the industry is under a huge amount of pressure at the moment as well? And there are dealers in the supply chain, that's what they are, and they are desperate to do the right thing by the customer, but sometimes they just can't because their supply chain or the supplier to them, the manufacturer, is just not got the same passion for the customer that they might have.
That's a very good point, Matt. But now, my own experience, I ordered a new caravan this year, and through Kimberley Caravans, and it got delayed and delayed and delayed. And the way they got around that, if you like, was number one, they loaned me, or it is on a buyback basis, a used model. So it was the fact they saw me, they saw that for me, a caravan is essential to my well-being and my life and my business, whatever. So they said to me, well, Andrew, you know, your caravan will be late. So what can we do? Well, how can we help you? And I said, well, could I use a used caravan? So I did that. And then every month I got a phone call from Kimberley Caravans to say, Andrew, so sorry, your caravan's been delayed again. We now think it's going to be delivered then. Okay, no problem. I can now plan my life around this new date. And I knew that every month I would get a phone call from Kimberley Caravans to say, this is the update, this is the update, we think this, you know. And, you know, they were just upfront and honest. And I think honesty, communication, seeing the customer, understanding what the customer needs, and you can only do that by communicating with the customer. So that's their job as dealers, and I think I'm so happy I went to Kimberley because their customer service is exceptional.
Yes.
And so that's, yes, they are getting let down, and I feel a lot of compassion for the dealers right now because they are desperate to help people achieve their dreams, and they don't have the means to do that. But one way to, in the meantime, is just to communicate with the customers, arrange, see what you can do, you know, and help them that way. I could have been in a case of, oh, it's all right, you know, I'm not really in any rush, you know, don't bother, you know, I'm not worried. Or I could have been, no, everything depends on this. What can we do to get round it?
But listening to you share that story, and thank you for sharing that, Kimberley Caravans are one of the good guys, undoubtedly. But you are Andrew Ditton. Surely, did they not have an agenda because of your profile?
They might have done, but trust me, Matt, it has gone against me in the past. Because also, and this is the flip side, I'm a professional, and I'm not into clickbait, I'm not into sensationalism, and I've been through some situations that I have remained, you know, I'm not going to bring people down.
No.
Because it looks bad on me.
Of course.
So if I was to go out and slate poor service or a poor dealer or a poor whatever, that would pretty much be the end of me.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to do that, and people know I'm not going to do that. So it has, and again, I'm too professional to name names, but it has gone against me in the past where I have had appalling service, but the people involved know that if I was to actually say exactly what had happened, not only is it just petty, but it looks really bad on me. I just look like a whinging ninny. So
moaning Minnie.
Moaning Minnie. So I believe it or not, when you look at it holistically,
yeah.
I've had my professionalism and good nature taken advantage of, and I've actually been treated a lot worse than some people because of what I do. Yeah. So no, it's not that at all.
And that baggage you have to carry, don't you? Because you have a responsibility to what you're representing as well, don't you?
Yes, exactly. So again, what I'm putting out in a professional broadcast, and don't get me wrong, it's honest. It's absolutely honest, and people know what I put out is honest. But if I've been treated terribly by someone, you know, or something's gone drastically terribly wrong with communication or whatever, that's not affecting the people that I'm talking to. You know, that's just a personal problem. So people know I don't take my personal problems out. If it's something that I feel is important for people to know, you know, is a wide scale thing, then yes, obviously I'm going to talk about that. But if it's something that's just unique to my situation, and this, you know, what I'm talking about was unique to my situation and nobody else in the industry, and that's where I was taken advantage of, and I felt, yeah, that was a bit.
What would your advice be to someone listening who maybe has found themselves in your situation where their caravan or motorhome is being delayed, and that's a lot of people at the moment? What would your advice to them be in terms of what they can do about it?
I think the main thing is keep the communication open with your dealer and ask them what is going on, please be honest with me, and arrange, if you've got something to trade in, obviously make sure you can keep that trade in until you get your new thing. If you're waiting for your first vehicle, maybe do what I did, approach them and say, look, is there a chance we could just use something on a buyback basis until my new one arrives, borrow something. I think the other main thing is a lot of people buy a new leisure vehicle and then plan a holiday straight after they've taken delivery.
The day they pick it up.
Yeah. And my advice is just...
It's the excitement.
It's the excitement. My advice is don't do that. No. Really don't do that. Get the vehicle first. Yeah. And then also travel locally for the first few days, because things do work a bit loose in the first few days. Yeah. Fortunately, it didn't for me, but they have done in the past. So I would just say, keep the communication open with your dealer, and if they're not communicating with you, and don't book anything too soon. No. But again... And also understand that the manufacturers and the dealers are in a difficult position as well. They're not doing this on purpose.
No, absolutely not. I talk to lots of dealers as a former dealer myself. We sell motorhomes in one of our businesses, and the dealers will give you the information they have at that time, and that changes. The manufacturer will give them new information. That's probably happened 3 or 4 times for certain manufacturer brands this year. Yeah. And the dealers are constantly being updated on further delays, which of course they have to pass down the line to you, the consumer. So bear in mind the dealer should be giving you honest information, but it could change, and that's not necessarily the dealer's fault, is it?
No, it's not necessarily the dealer's fault, and I feel sorry if they're passing on messages and then they're getting grief from someone, because, as I say, no one's doing this on purpose. No one in this industry. I actually feel it's the first time in 20 years I've felt so much sympathy for the industry, for the manufacturers and the dealers. Yes. Because they desperately want to supply people. And you've got to remember too, from even a business point of view, if the dealers have nothing to sell, how are they staying in business?
Well, we're seeing businesses starting to fold, and we'll see more next year, I think.
Yeah, and that is not good for anybody.
No. Long established family brands, I fear, will start to disappear.
Yeah, and that is really sad, and no one wants that. No one was. That's good for nobody.
And the problem, these problems, of course, hail from the tiniest microchip at the start of the chain, don't they? They're not the manufacturers of the motorhomes. It's the manufacturers of the chassis are having the problems, the manufacturers of the components that go into the chassis. This is a really deep supply chain issue here, way above our pay grade.
Oh, it really is. And I mean, to touch on the electric vehicle thing, I've got a Kia EV6, and I've had one of my subscribers tell me that his local Kia dealer has a waiting list to go on the waiting list.
Oh my goodness.
So the waiting list is closed, and now there is a waiting list to go on the waiting list when the waiting list finally opens up again.
Well, let's do another session together and let's lift that can of worm lid on electric motorhomes and campervans. I've got so many questions on this.
We can do that again, yes?
Let's do it. Maybe you can answer some of them for me.
Well, I've seen, hopefully I can. I've seen a prototype electric campervan. I've seen a real electric campervan. There's, to my knowledge, there is only one fully integrated electric campervan on the market at the moment in the Netherlands, which is called a Tonka, based on the Mercedes EQV. Yep. Based on the Mercedes EQV, it's about €120,000, does 320 kilometres. And when I say fully integrated, Matt, I mean that it has no LPG on board. So the heating, the cooker, everything runs off the main battery. And it's only got one electrical inlet, what we call a Type 2. And that is the only realistic, fully integrated electric campervan I've seen. Now, we've got a couple of manufacturers in the UK who are doing electric campervans, but they're still putting in LPG, and the reason being It's very hard to go below the floor with an electric camper van because of the battery.
Yeah.
So Bursner made a prototype this year. They showed it at Düsseldorf, and they explained to me that it was a 4D Transit, and they explained to me that when they did this conversion, they actually removed the battery.
I was going to say, they took the batteries out, didn't they?
Took the battery out, did the conversion, put the battery back. And that is not an efficient way to do a van conversion.
It was like a Bond film. It was like cut the red wire or the yellow one. Which one?
But that's the thing. Batteries are safe as long as they remain intact.
Well, I've got so many questions about it. We've actually bought an electric van, and we're having it converted to a camper right now.
Wow.
It's a Max SE Delivery 3. This is a secret, which we've slipped it now anyway. So we'll have that later this year, and we're going to go on holiday in it and see what can go wrong.
What could possibly go wrong? So my question to you is, are you fitting LPG, or are you going to try and tap into the van's main electric?
We've got a gas hob.
You've got a gas hob. Because I've had a few people thinking of converting an electric van to my talks here, and the one thing I've said to them, if they're thinking of self-converting, just floor up. That's the mantra, floor up. Don't think about going below the floor with anything. And that's probably one of the downsides of an electric van. So if you want to think about, that puts out some of the underfloor heating solutions, some of the underfloor tank solutions. No. You do not. You put your normal floor on top of the van floor, and you do not go below that for absolutely anything, because obviously if you damage the integrity of the battery, you are in really bad news. That's really bad news.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Well, Andrew, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the podcast. And congratulations again on the award. We're so proud of you here at the Motorhome podcast. I genuinely mean that.
Thank you.
Tell us again where people can find you online.
So my YouTube channel is Andrew J. Ditton, but if you just type Andrew Ditton in the search box, you'll come up with that. Instagram is the same, Andrew J. Ditton, but sadly, because there's only me, they are my two channels. I've also got a couple of newsletters. They're both on the Substack platform. One is called Streamlining, and one is called Electric Touring. So if you want to find out more information about what electric camper vans are coming, or if you're thinking of towing with an electric vehicle, or thinking about it, then that one is at electrictouring.substack.com. That is electrictouring.substack.com.
Very good. One last question. We've asked everyone this that we've spoken to. What's the highlight of this show for you?
The highlight's talking to you, Matt.
No one else has said that.
But there you go. There you go.
No, come on, a real answer.
Oh my goodness. Do you mean vehicles, experiences?
Just a highlight, something you've seen, an experience for you.
The highlight for me was seeing a friend I haven't seen for 30 years. She came and found me here. So Sarah, if you're listening, that was amazing. To see someone for the first time in 30 years was amazing. Vehicle-wise, I'm hugely impressed with the Swift Voyager. I'm hugely impressed with the Bursner Gallery. I'd seen the Heim Adventure S in Düsseldorf, but it's something else. I think they're my main highlights vehicle-wise. It's hard to think of one highlight. I just find the show is such a buzz.
Yeah.
It's such a buzz. And I think, too, the other highlight is this is the first time we've been together at the October show for 3 years. Yeah. That is just a highlight in itself.
It is very good to be back, isn't
it? It's brilliant. Yeah. It's absolutely brilliant.
And make sure you take out those 2 hours to go and enjoy the trees as well.
I will. Thank you, Matt. Cheers.
Bless you, Andrew. See you soon.
Cheers. Thank you.